Hi, and welcome back to another InnoMind talk. This one is about your creative mindset and how you can enhance creativity in your personal lives. So what is creativity? If you do a simple Google search for creativity quotes, for instance, multiple quotes come up in many different directions they point. Three of my favorite quotes are the ones on the screen right now. So creativity is the process of having original ideas which have value. And it turns out that most of the research on creativity, that's also where they land on that definition. I quite like the one from Maya Angelou as well. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. So the more sort of new ideas you try to generate, the more new ideas you also come up with and get. But the worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt. And I believe that is also correct. That sometimes what inhibits us from coming up with new ideas is actually the fact that we're afraid of what will other people think, what will other people say to this idea. Is it too strange or too weird, or is it just too normal, or did someone else say it before me and I just didn't listen? So self-doubt is the worst enemy of creativity. Just pause this video for a couple of minutes and write down your definition of creativity. What is the favorite creativity quote when doing a simple Google search that you fall upon? So, just pause for a second and I'll be back. Welcome back. The definitions of creativities are quite many, and there are also quite many approaches to creativity. Psychometric approach, saying that you can actually measure creativity by, for instance, the Torrance test of creativity. It does also say that everyone possesses creativity, but some in more degree than others. The psychoanalytical approach, looking into creativity and is seeing is this manifestation of the unconscious, and of course leans against much of the work of Freud, with the preconscious and the subconscious, and also has been related quite a bit to people with mental illness or drug abuse, and so forth. Self-expression and mystical is the third approach to creativity that emphasizes a lot on aesthetics and the expressive outcomes, and associated quite a bit to talent and also sometimes inspiration from the divine. The end product approach sees it as this process, creativity as a process that's manifested in a creation, for instance, a product, work, or some other kind of output. And then there's also the cognitive, which sees creativity as a skill or a process. But again, in some, the Robinson quote can be used as sort of summing up on all the approaches. It's the ability to develop original ideas which have value. Before moving ahead, look into the video shown to you on the screen here below. It's quite an interesting talk on creativity. Also, a lot of research has looked into what is the relationship between creativity and intelligence, and is there actually a relationship? However, the work that's been done still leaves it as an open issue that needs further investigation. There's not really found any consensus on the relationship between creativity and intelligence. Some work of, for instance, the psychologist Csikszentmihalyi has done some research on creativity and written this book, The Psychology of Discovery and Invention, where he lists these paradoxical traits of a creative personality, and it's that they both have physical energy, a lot of physical energy, but that they're also quiet and addressed. They are often both smart and naive, playful and disciplined, imaginative, but also have a sense of reality, extroverted and introverted, humble and proud. So it's really these contrasting traits that many of these creative people have. In summing up what creativity is, it's the skill for everyone, ability to make new connection, capacity to generate new ideas, divergent thinking, meaning ability to have an open mind and thinking many scenarios and coming up with many new ideas. Yes. So, an idea product that serves the label creative actually comes from the synergy of many sources and not just from the mind of a single person. A general sort of creative accomplishment is almost never the result of just a sudden insight or light bulb flashing in the dark, but comes after years and years of hard work, and is very dependent on the environment surrounding the person. What is actually talked about quite often is big C creativity versus little c creativity, whereas big C creativity is seen as some of these more rare personalities, when a person solves a problem or creates an object that has a major impact on how other people live their lives and how they think and feel. For instance, like Einstein or J.K. Rowling's with the Harry Potter movies and books, of course, and Steve Jobs with the major inventions that he's had on technology. And then there's the little c creativity, so these everyday kind of problems that we make adaptations to, so adding a new spice to a dish, or finding a new, perhaps shorter route to work, or for instance, as the example here on the screen, putting your shoes instead of you in a line so that you don't have to stand there and wait. Those are examples of little c creativity. But what about you? When did you apply little c creativity in your life? Please try and just write a little list of when you last did that. Why should we be more creative? So creativity is seen as this infinite source of innovation, and it's becoming increasingly important for the development of the 21st century. Creativity not only inspires or contributes to economic prosperity, but also in large contributes to the individual's well-being as well as social well-being. So creativity is seen as a source of meaning. Things that are interesting and important to us are also quite often a result of creativity. When we're involved in creative activities, we seem to live more fully than throughout the rest of our lives. Also less bored, and because each moment in the creative process sort of has this promise of a fresh discovery, that you're just about to discover something new and different. So how can you enhance your creativity? Well, in his book, Csikszentmihalyi Mihai comes up with different ways to improve your personal creativity. But again, he sees it as it's composed. Creativity is composed of three different elements, so like culture, a specific person that then brings novelty into a specific domain, being it science or being a cultural domain. But then also a field of experts who can actually recognize and validate this innovation and validate this creative idea. All ideas are necessary in order for this idea or creative idea product to take place. So what can you do to become more creative? Focus your intention. One needs talent. It also needs training and grit, like just keep training, even though it may not seem as though you're not succeeding. You have to continue moving ahead. And it also requires a dose of good luck. So, enhancing personal creativity, what can you do? Curiosity and interest are one of the points that Csikszentmihalyi is mentioning in his book. Be surprised at something new each and every day. So for instance, taking little details into account, for instance, how someone at your study is going about eating their lunch. Wow, why did she go to the canteen and pick that up? So perhaps you pick up something different every day in the canteen instead of just the regular salad. Try to surprise somebody every day, right? Try to say something new or do something new. When something strikes a spark in you of interest, then follow it and write down all these elements of how you surprised somebody and how you became surprised by something throughout the day. Cultivating these flow experiences throughout your everyday lives. So stay attentive to little things, right? So when you're emptying the dishwasher or setting the table up for dinner or making dinner or vacuum cleaning or having a run outside or whatever you do, try to wake up every morning with a specific goal to look forward to. And again, if you do anything well, it becomes enjoyable, right? So try to find the joy in the little things. To keep enjoying something, you also need to increase its complexity, right? So if you, for instance, like to run, then try to run different routes or take longer distances or run in a different pace. But try and increase the complexity of a situation or activity that you're doing in order to keep enjoying it. And habits of strength, take charge of your schedule, right? Make time for, there's so many things that try to take up our attention. Like, for instance, sometimes I sit with my iPhone and then I play this little stupid game called 10-10. What a waste of time, right? Take charge of your schedule. Make time for reflection and relaxations in a way that doesn't perhaps require a silly game like that. Find out what you like and what you hate about life. Start doing more of what you love, less of what you hate. So if you, like me, like to paint, perhaps try to take up more of that activity. Internal traits, develop what you lack. If there are skills that you think that you don't have, then try to develop those skills or meet people who have those skills. In processes, keep shifts from openness to closure, right? Come up with new ideas and think divergently in different problem finding, for instance, also. Find out ways to express what moves you, right? So if you're sitting at a lecture, write down the essence of what you heard and figure out a way to rephrase it in other ways. How would you describe creativity? What is creativity to you? Right? Figure out the implications of different sorts of problems. So if there is something that annoys you throughout your life, just small problems, then see if you can come up with the solutions or thinking what's wrong here. Divergent thinking, produce as many ideas as possible. Try to produce also unlikely ideas, right? Choosing a special domain, try as many domains as possible, right? Perhaps you're not the athlete of the century, but why not try and take up sports or try and take up piano playing or try and pick up inside knowledge about how to produce excellent websites, right? There are many things that you can try doing. So it's creativity. It's a process of generating original ideas. Quite important it is for the new century. And focus your attention. Want to know more? Look into these little slides here about 4 lessons in creativity. And again, you can't be a creative thinker if you're not stimulating your mind. Just as you can't be an Olympic athlete if you don't train regularly. Alright, so stay creative. See you.